Dude, it's like, when I think about it, it's, I know you know this, Kevin. It's like, dude, we're from like the Midwest. Nothing like this ever fucking happens. Like, we're just in like this safe zone. It's actually a blessing. It's even like if we were born in in LA or some big city, we would be trapped in the chaos. We really would be. We wouldn't ever have time to escape. I always thought that when I lived in LA is I'm like if I were to be born here, I would never be able to escape the chaos. I would never know what it was like without the busyness and the traffic, which I think is a blessing actually, because a lot of those people think that nothing happens outside of California because it's not that dramatic. So let's check out here. Powerful earthquake rocks Tibet and parts of Nepal.
Search and rescue efforts are underway at this hour in Tibet, where a powerful earthquake has killed at least 95 people.
Wow.
The U.S. Geological Survey says a 7.1 quake struck just after 9 a.m. local time.
Holy shit.
And it was followed by dozens of aftershocks. Authorities say the shaking could be felt as far away as Nepal and northern India. Social media video from China shows streets filled with rubble as a result. Mark Stewart is joining us now from Beijing with the very latest. What do we know about this quake?
What I noticed is that earthquakes don't really happen in the United States like this. There's been a few, but it seems like in Asia, it just is nonstop.
I mean, I understand it struck in
It's like the Earth saying, like, get the hell out of here.
a remote area. I'd imagine that's hindering rescue efforts.
And how could you thrive and even relax in there? Because you're always thinking like, okay, this next thing that I build is just going to come crumbling down.
No question, Amara. Location is just one of the many challenges. This is a high altitude area, about 14,000 feet in some places. Even if you are in very good shape, it's very difficult to breathe. And that is one of many reasons why this rescue is so difficult. We have rescue crews who are having to go through boulders, through broken buildings, and put the altitude on top of it. It is a very daunting task. A lot of resources are being sent by the Chinese Air Force. In fact, we've just learned that a very large military transport plane has been sent. Just some of the hardware that's being dispatched to the area, but an indication of just how difficult of a task this is. In fact, you see video of these crews arriving on the scene, going into action. Weather is also a challenge, as it's now nighttime. The temperature has dropped significantly. No snow on the ground, but very cold temperatures overnight, adding to the difficulties in all of this. Another sticking point in all of this is going to be infrastructure. Many of these roads, as you've seen, have boulders on them. There's a lot of debris, in addition to buildings that in many parts look like as if they have collapsed. So it's difficult for people to leave the earthquake zone, and adds challenge for crews trying to go in to see what is left behind. You mentioned all of the aftershocks. This is a fact that we just learned that really struck me.
Yeah, scary, definitely. I'd hate to be there.
150 aftershocks reported at 6 o'clock local time, and that is just
you can see why people hate the United States.
Indication of what these crews are facing, a very long list of challenges, and quite frankly, a lot of these images are just heartbreaking.
They're worrying about like earthquakes and like terrorist organizations stealing their kids, and we're like arguing about TikTok and Mark Zuckerberg's new chain.
Earlier, we saw a man on a stretcher, and you could just see the despair on that person's face. Tibet is a very significant part of the world here. It is it's seen as a very sacred place, of course, with its origins in
Well, that's a sign.
Buddhism. We have heard now from the Dalai Lama, in fact. He says that he is saddened by what has happened, is offering prayers for people who have lost their lives, and is offering hopes for a swift recovery for those who are injured. Also hearing from Chinese President Xi Jinping, who earlier today really made it clear that this rescue effort is a national priority, an all-out effort to rescue people from the hurricane, or from the earthquake zone, I should say. Amra, it is just past 9 o'clock in the evening. It is dark, and there's certainly a lot of concern what the hours will bring and what will be discovered when the sun starts to rise in the morning, Amra.
And of course, earthquakes
at night, you know, all this shit happening at night. That's terrible.
Quakes of this magnitude always come with many aftershocks, as you mentioned. And with that, do we expect the death toll to rise even more so in the coming hours and days?
Oh, absolutely. Kind of question
I mean, I
is
think the thing which has really struck us who have been covering this story throughout the day, you know, when this first happened at around 9 o'clock in the morning, the death toll was in the single digits. And then within a matter of hours, as crews were able to get closer and closer, the death toll certainly certainly started to rise. So I don't think anyone, sadly, is ruling out the possibility that more bodies could be found in the rubble overnight.
Let's see if we can find some. Let's see if we can find some footage of it going down.
Do it following this story for us there in Tibet. Thank you so much, live for us there in Beijing. And meteorologist Derek Van Dam takes a look at the weather conditions in the quake zone.
When this powerful and deadly earthquake struck just after 9 a.m. local time, what struck me is the shallow nature of this earthquake, only 10 kilometers deep, meaning that there wasn't a lot of ground to absorb the shaking. So the earthquake was certainly felt well away from the epicenter, and we do anticipate the aftershocks to continue, especially with this powerful of an earthquake. In fact, when we look at similar strength earthquakes, magnitude 7.0 or greater, we typically experience at least one magnitude 6.0 or greater aftershock, with several dozen 5.0 or less. Now, where the earthquake occurred on the Tibetan plateau, it is a high elevation
on the edge
location. So here's the Himalayan mountains,
crazy.
here's Nepal, India to the south, China to the north. That's the epicenter right there. So just by its true nature of its location, it is a cold part of the world, but it's been particularly cold lately. Now, in terms of the weather going forward, we don't have any significant weather systems in play for the search and recovery efforts until the weekend. So we look towards Saturday and Sunday when you start to see some of this impactful weather starting to impact the Himalayas and
Saturday is going to be really fucked up. We got a hurricane on the way. It's going to blow everyone's tops off.
Surrounding areas that could pick up the winds and complicate that search and rescue effort going forward. So that's again for the weekend. In the meantime, generally dry conditions anticipated in and around the epicenter. Here's the closest reporting station. The next three.
Here, let's watch this. Let's watch this before the Jimmy Carter thing pops on. This is live. No, this ain't live footage. But this, I think this is some footage of when the earthquake really went down. Here we go. It's silent. Life is a boat. And there's no waves right now, but the waves are coming. Okay, that's all it is. This wire shaking? There, look, it's like pointing at the wire shaking. Look, the wire's shaking. Okay. This is the footage we got of a wire shaking? Okay, here we go. Okay, some mirrors on the wall. It's gotta be something good, guys. Where's the action? There we go, it's heating up. Same footage. Same guy rides by on his little moped. Whoop, 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 whoop. There we go. Don't crack the mirror. I want to see like some guy sitting eating soup and his soup just goes everywhere. Okay. It's all the same shit. There's nothing good. No absolute catastrophe.